In the meantime, the health risks facing Jamaicans from the garbage collection backlog is greater than many think. Stakeholders, including some medical practitioners, have therefore shared tips on how Jamaicans can keep safe during the crisis, even as they ask the authorities to do better with the collection. Dwayne Anderson now has part 2 of this Primetime News in Focus special report.
More Jamaicans are burning their waste as fewer garbage trucks come their way. For instance, this yard in Clarendon has 3 areas designated for this purpose, while in the commercial district in downtown Kingston, a massive area of land is devoted for the practice. We observed one evening as the pile of rubbish burned. A JPS pole in the area appears to have been compromised by the repeated fires near its base.
Rubbish truck take all more than 1 month to come. So the garbage pack up at gate. Sometimes all 2 months before the truck come. So some of the time I burn, we have to burn rubbish.
Neighbors sometimes burn either, garbage itself, or sometimes just burning of grass or other materials that they may have cut from around the bush or so on that they may have cut from around their household. And as a result of this, it creates problems for the persons. Sometimes the neighbors are considerate and they'll stop the practice if it's pointed out to them that's affecting them. But some persons are not as considerate, and we do have persons who, in one particular case I can remember, the neighbor suggested to my patient that they should probably move because they had no intention of stopping the burning.
In fact, the medical doctor explained that repeated exposure to smoke from burning garbage is as dangerous as smoking cigarettes. And while burning garbage is not new in parts of Jamaica, in particular rural districts, the practice poses an added threat these days. Combined with the Saharan dust, people with lung and breathing issues are most at risk.
It does create a lot of particulate dust matter in the atmosphere. And although, to some extent the lungs can deal in a limited way with dust particles, these levels of dust particles are exceptionally high. And even for persons who don't have lung disease, which we would recommend that they try to limit exposure to the dust, especially when it is announced through the meteorological service that there's a significant increase in the atmosphere. But persons who have lung disease certainly should stay away, stay out, try not to go outdoors. They should ideally be wearing a mask.
Furthermore, dangerous chemicals released from containers in garbage fires can end up in your drinking water when it rains. But there are other potentially deadly health concerns posed by animals that get into your waste. So it's minutes after 9 o'clock Thursday evening, and I'm in Mapen, Clarendon. Now, the parish capital, according to some local government representatives, is being overrun by rodents. So I've decided to come into the parish capital to have a stakeout of sorts to see if I can spot any of these rodents that are supposedly overrunning the town. So let's see what we find. We did not see any rats during our nighttime stakeout, but we did see dogs. This dog appeared to have found a tasty meal in this bag of garbage left unattended. Within minutes of licking and biting through the garbage, a man followed. Now, if that animal was carrying diseases, those germs were likely picked up on the man's bare hands.
Make sure they bag their garbage properly and they put them in secure containers. As I mentioned earlier, you bag them, you put them out on the roadside. If it's not in a secure container, domestic animals like dogs and cats will come along and tear them, and goats will come along and tear the bags and expose them. So
rats like this one foraging through garbage in New Kingston in the broad daylight also concern the doctors.
The houseflies will carry diseases like leptospirosis and typhoid and so on when they pitch on persons or pitch on your food, right? So the uncollected garbage is really a big problem. And with what is happening right now across the island, I'm pretty sure we're going to have an upsurge in all of these diseases which are carried by both the rodents and the houseflies.
The medical practitioner said so far he has not seen any cases of leptospirosis or dengue. But he warned that Jamaicans are at higher risk to viruses as the garbage piles grow. Tomorrow, in part 2 of this 3-part series, we will look at potential solutions to the garbage collection backlog. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.